DNA damage makes zebrafish sleepy. Catching some Z's repairs a day's damage to neurons' DNA, at least in zebrafish. While the fish are awake, DNA damage accumulates, which, through a buildup of the DNA repair protein PARP1, triggers sleep, according to a study published today, November 18, in Molecular Cell. Cells routinely face stress, such as exposure to radiation, that can leave their DNA damaged. Cells, therefore, have an arsenal of repair proteins to mend the DNA or, if it's irreparable, trigger cell death. When postdoc David Zada and other authors induced DNA damage in the neurons of zebrafish larvae by inducing neuronal activity or using UV radiation, the fish slept longer. By labeling repair proteins in live zebrafish larvae with fluorescent markers and using real-time imaging, the researchers found that during sleep, the repair proteins are recruited to DNA damage sites in the neurons of the dorsal pallium, the zebrafish equivalent of the brain's neocortex. PARP1 detects DNA damage and recruits repair proteins to mend the breaks, so pallium speculated that it might act as a sensor to trigger sleep. When they increased levels of PARP1 in zebrafish larvae, the larvae slept longer, but when PARP1 was inhibited, the larvae slept for a shorter period of time, though they caught up on lost sleep once the inhibitor was withdrawn. We knew an illustration of the study's findings in which, during waking hours, a buildup of DNA damage in neurons increases tiredness. We knew already that sleep was important for DNA repair, but we didn't know the molecular actors, says neurobiologist Philippe Morin of Stanford University, who has studied the neural signatures of sleep in zebrafish but was not involved in this study. See poor sleep linked with future amyloid B buildup. Although the study was conducted on zebrafish larvae and validated in mice instead of humans, it has provided unequivocal evidence that sleep is intrinsically linked to DNA damage and repair, writes Choi. The fact that the DNA damage sensing enzyme PARP1 is involved in sleep pressure confirms that sleep regulates DNA repair mechanisms, and that adequate and good quality sleep is essential for brain health.